He refers to his special brand of music as sophistic funk. We're talking about Grammy Award winner Mtume.
From legendary albums with Miles Davis to sought-after spiritual jazz. But it was his shift from a jazz pioneer to an R&B maestro with his own band that truly distinguished him from his colleagues. This musician and his band effortlessly straddled these two worlds, instilling consciousness in the club while sanctifying its erotic appeal. The centerpiece of today's video is all about James Mtume. Before we start, let's be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and push the notification bell to be sure you won't miss on any more uploads. Now without further ado, let's cue that intro. Born James Foreman on January 3rd, 1946 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, he was the son of jazz saxophonist Jimmy Heath and was raised by his mother Bertha Foreman and his stepfather, a Philadelphia local jazz pianist, James Gates Foreman. And he grew up in a musical environment with jazz musicians frequenting his parents' house.
And even from a baby, you've been surrounded by music. Is that why your parents chose that name for you? Both your father and your stepfather?
Yes. And I always give this story, you know, as a kid, 9, 10 years old, I grow up. Sometimes at dinner, there's Dizzy Gillespie, there's Miles Davis.
Wait, children at the dinner table?
This is Thelonious Monk.
Oh my
So
goodness!
10-year-old kid growing up with that,
amazing.
plus I'm growing up with R&B's just developing, Motown's just coming in, you know.
So it would have been quite weird if he turned out to be a lawyer.
He began to play piano and drums, but from his teenage years, he pursued athletics as a swimmer, becoming the first black Middle Atlantic AAU champion in the backstroke. And in 1966, he enrolled in Pasadena City College on a swimming scholarship. Mtume joined the U.S. organization, a black empowerment group formed by Hakim Jamal and Maulana Karenga in 1966 while attending Pasadena City College. Mtume name, which means messenger in Swahili, came from Karenga, who gave members of the group names that matched their personalities.
Yes.
And so is your surname.
Yes, my name Mtume means messenger, you know, as music messenger.
And you are the musical messenger.
Yes.
I love that.
He was a member of the group that celebrated the first Kwanzaa in 1966.
I was reading somewhere you're one of the founders of Kwanzaa, so explain
Okay.
why
You
someone would
found
say
the
that.
Kwanzaa? No. I didn't say I was 90. I said 70. No. I'm one of the original celebrants. In other words, when I went out to California to go to school, I ran into Karenga. And Kwanzaa, the original Kwanzaa was in 1966. There was about 10 of them. I was involved in 1967 when there was about 23 of us. And everybody was like, yo, they crazy, you know. They thought it was anti, you know, Christianity and anti-Santa Claus. No, it was a cultural holiday. And the thing I'm most proud about, we decided to do that. We didn't ask Congress to pass nothing, you know, out of self-determination. So, no, I'm not the originator, but I'm one of the participants.
The next year, he co-edited the quotable Karenga with Clyde Halisi, which has been described as the best expression of Karenga's ideas. Mtume quit the U.S. organization in 1969. In 1995, he met Louis Farrakhan and remained close to him till his passing. Mtume made his professional debut on his uncle, Albert Heath's 1969 album Kawaii. His debut song under his own name was Alkabu Land, Land of the Blacks, which was recorded live at the East, a Black nationalist community arts and education center in Brooklyn, and published by Strata East Records. Both albums aim to combine free jazz and cultural identity. After returning from the West Coast, he relocated to New York City and began his career as a sideman for McCoy Tyner, Freddie Hubbard, and Miles Davis, whose band he eventually joined and played with for several years. He and fellow Mtume band member Reggie Lucas received the Grammy Award for Best R&B Song for composing. And producing Stephanie Mills' top 10 song Never Knew Love Like This Before, for which she also won a Grammy for Best Female R&B Vocal Performance. Mtume made 2 albums in the early 70s that represented his desired fusion of jazz and black identity, and he immediately established himself as an artist to watch. Mtume was founded in 1977 by the exceptional, wonderful, and sophisticated vocalist Tawatha Agee, jazz guitarist Reggie Lucas, drummer Howard King, pianist Hubert Eves, and bassist Basil Farrington. During the group's early career, they recorded on 3 albums. However, after failing to break through in mainstream or R&B, they signed with big label Epic Records in 1978, producing the albums Kiss This World Goodbye and In Search of the Rainbow Seekers, both of which charted modestly in R&B. Their 1983 album Juicy Fruit presented Mtume with their biggest hit, with the title song reaching #1 for 8 weeks on the US R&B chart and being certified gold, but it placed just outside the top 40 on the Billboard Hot 100 at 45.
I've had a few, but not that many. But you're the only love.
Mtume's 1984 album You, Me, and He was likewise successful, with the title song reaching #2 on the R&B charts. Breathless from their final album, Theater of the Mind was their final R&B top 10 single.
Sweet, we're so complete, moving in fantasy.
Mtume continued to record for Epic Records until the late 80s. Tawatha Agee, a group member, eventually went solo in 1987. Mtume's prominence surged significantly as he concentrated more on songwriting and production for R&B musicians and collaboration with frequent partner Reggie Lucas. Their song, Never Knew Love Like This Before, was a monster for Stephanie Mills and opened the door for production work for the Spinners, Phyllis Hyman, Teddy Pendergrass, and many more. Another Mtume and Lucas product, 1977's The Closer I Get to You, turned into a #1 smash for Roberta Flack and Donny Hathaway, becoming Hathaway's last big hit. Mtume continued to be in demand as a producer through to the end of the 90s, with credits including hits from Mary J. Blige, KC and JoJo, and R. Kelly. Mtume composed music for the television show New York Undercover in 1994, as well as opportunities for other musicians to perform on the show. Mtume sued Sony Music and Epic Records in July 2018, seeking to return the rights to 2 albums and his smash single Juicy Fruit. Mtume claimed exclusive rights to these recordings, but Sony maintained that the albums were recorded for hire. Mtume is the father of Fa Mtume, a music producer, and his nephew Damu Mtume. He was married for 55 years to Adrienne Young, whom he named Camille, which means perfect, near perfection. They met at a US organization gathering in Los Angeles in 1966. Mtume and Camille raised 5 children and have 5 grandchildren. Sadly, just 6 days after his 76th birthday, Mtume passed in his South Orange, New Jersey home. Now, before we go, I have a question for you all. What is your favorite song from James Mtume, or a song that he wrote or produced?